So sometimes back we were talking about the company is in trouble. Today we do talk about the entire industry is in trouble. And this comes to a situation where the entire industry is calling for a help. And for this instance, it is very much important for us to understand that why do any industry need a help. So to understand this problem, let us take an example of an airline industry. So mostly what we had seen during the period of lockdown, the industry has been barely operational. That means the industry cannot generate any revenue and simultaneously it has to occur consistent cost. Now let us come little back to the pre-COVID era, where we had seen that the airline industry's contribution to the growth of India was enormous. Since the particular industry has supported the growth of India. And let us see here a very ambitious project of the government, that is the UDAN scheme. So in the scheme of government, the government is planning to make 100 more airports in the country. And now suppose due to this pandemic, what we are seeing a fall in airlines. That means airlines will not be able to survive this pandemic. Now suppose we are allowing this industry to fall. That means it will again take us 2 to 3 years to build again the infrastructure what the industry has built. That means it will again take us 2 to 3 years back. Now in this era of COVID-19, what we are seeing that a circle of industry is facing a problem. Starting for airline industry to hospitality to retail segments, the entertainment industry, real estate industry. So everybody is facing a kind of problem. And this industry can be supported if India does have a very strong financial system. But what if banks are in vulnerable position? And here it comes a serious concern because no country in the world can afford a financial crisis. In fact, many forecasting agencies which were projecting a very good growth for India were betting on the very strong financial support. That means they do not support any fault in financial system. So in order to understand why there is a banking crisis, it is a very deep problem and there are many reasons to it. But the focus should be why now, and obviously the reason is COVID-19, where most of the industry is not being able to operate in a pre-COVID level. What is happening that they are not able to repay their EMI for the loan that they have taken from the banks. That means there is a definite rise in bad loan that is gonna happen. But if we'll see the bad loan distribution of bank, what we see that the retail loans do consist of 2%, service loan consists of 7.2%, while the industry loan consists of 14.1% and the agriculture loan do consist of 10.1%. So this is the distribution of bank, that how much loans has been converted into a bad loan. And due to this crisis, it is very much definite that we will see a definite rise in bad loans in each of the segment. But right now when we are seeing the bad loan classification of banks, what we are seeing the retail loans, which is generally the individual loans, that means your personal loan, housing loans, etc, etc. That means your personal loan, banking loan. So this comes as a very good category for a banking segment because the percentage of conversion of this into NPA is very low, that is 2%. But due to this pandemic, what we had seen, there is massive layoffs, salary cut for the employees. So it makes difficult for individual to repay their EMIs. But according to NPA norms, if you are not paying more than 90 days, then you become a defaulter, and that definitely increases the bank's NPA. It restricts the bank to lend more. And because of this, many economists do predicting that India will see an unprecedented rise in NPAs in a time frame of 6 months. And for this, they were calling for a restructuring plan for banks to avoid this situation. And very recently, RBI has granted for restructuring plan for COVID impacted borrowers. What is restructuring? In very simple words, if I can explain restructuring, then it is the reschedulement of the payment plan of the borrower. So to understand this, let us take a two case based scenario, where in the first case what we are seeing, there is a businessman who is operating in a pre-COVID scenario. So in this case, what is happening, the businessman is able to perform its operation in a full capacity and able to generate enough revenue to repay its loan. While in the second case, what we are seeing, the same businessman who is operating in a post-COVID scenario, and in this case the same person is not even been able to operate in 50% of the pre-COVID capacity. That means this person is not able to generate enough revenue to repay its loan. That means in the first case, where the person has the eligibility to repay around 100 rupees of loan, in the second case the person doesn't have the eligibility to repay 100 rupees of loan while he still has this 100 rupees of loan. And right now what will happen? This 100 rupees of loan will be overburdened for him. Now suppose the situation has been normalized and the person in the second case wants to operate in its full capacity, and for that he needs money to restart its operation. So now the person goes to a bank which can offer him some money in order to restart his operation. But when the bank sees that this person has around 100 rupees of overdue loan, then they become reluctant to pay him any money. And due to the lack of money, the person is not able to operate his business, and that is the case, he has to shut down. Now after this, it has come to the bank's recover of money, what 100 rupees it has lent to this person. And now what bank will do? Bank will sell the assets of this person. But due to the pandemic, the assets of his business has already been depreciated. So the bank will not get good value for the assets that the person possesses, and instead of 100 rupees that the bank has lent to this person, bank will get only 50 rupees. And here it comes to a loss of 50 rupees to the bank. And what restructuring does, let us take the same case scenario where the person has taken 100 rupees loan from a bank, and now what the bank does, the bank do understand that in this scenario the person is unable to pay 100 rupees of loan. So in this case what the bank does, the bank write down the loan of around 100 rupees to around 80. That means instead of having 100 rupees loan for the person, right now it has 80 rupees of loan. Now suppose the person wants to go to market and raise capital in order to restart its business. He is able to raise money and reopen his business. So in this case, neither the person's business is shutting down, neither a bank is getting huge loss of 50 rupees. Here the loss for the bank is 20 rupees instead of 50 rupees. And this is only one way of doing restructuring, where there are many types of different restructuring depending on case to case basis. So in some cases you can do extension of the payment period, or in some cases they generally do lowering of the interest rates. Now let us see that how this restructuring is different from the moratorium. So by the definition of moratorium, it is very much clear that it is generally postponement of the payment. So according to the RBI's plans of 3 months or 6 months moratorium, the borrower doesn't have to pay for that particular period of time. But the moratorium was only the temporary solution where we were delaying the crisis, not dealing with the crisis. So for the reason, this time RBI has come up with the restructuring of the loans. Now let us see what is the problem with restructuring. So here we had taken the same person, and here what we had done, we had write down its loan from 100 rupees to 80 rupees. Now what we are thinking, we are in a hope that this person will be able to recover from this pandemic and come to its previous level of business operation. But what if this person is seriously in a deep crisis and is not been able to recover through this pandemic? Here it comes the importance of restructuring, to whom you do restructure. And if you want to see the current restructuring plan, then the RBI has recently appointed KB Kamath committee in order to plan and restructure according to different types of problems of the borrowers. And moreover, this restructuring will be for 2 years. That means for 2 years we don't know what is the bank's position of the bank loan. And this is harsh to sound, but in the current scenario, there is only two options available. One is restructuring of the bank's loans, other one is recapitalization by the government of India. But after the restructuring plan by the RBI for 2 years, it makes the way clear for government not to recapitalize banks at least for 2 years. And in the end, I would just say that the problem in banks also needs some attention, as it is the only institution which can save while the economy is falling. So please do comment your thoughts about the current problem on the banking sector. So in the next video of banking, we can add your valuable opinion.